The throne room of Arcturus Prime fell silent as King Zephyron received the transmission. His daughter, Princess Lyra, had been declared missing after the catastrophic battle at the Terminus Nebula. For 3 cycles, the entire Arcturian Empire had mourned. The king's luminescent skin, once radiant with power, had dulled to a sickly gray. His forearms hung limp at his sides as he stared at the empty seat beside his throne, the seat meant for his heir. "She was the best of us," whispered Chancellor Vex, his mandibles clicking in sorrow. "The fleet is returning, Your Majesty. Without her." Zephyrin nodded slowly, his triple-lidded eyes closing in grief. Lyra had been more than his daughter. She had been the Empire's hope, brilliant, fearless, and beloved by their people. She had led the charge against the Vexian invasion fleet personally. Witnesses reported her ship exploding in a direct hit. No escape pods, no survivors. The funeral preparations had already begun. 3 days later, an unidentified vessel approached Arcturus Prime. It was small, primitive by Arcturian standards, clearly human in origin. The defense grid locked onto it immediately. "Destroy it," Zephyron commanded listlessly. Humans were beneath notice, a young species barely capable of faster-than-light travel. They had no business in Arcturian space. "Your Majesty," the communications officer's voice cracked with disbelief. "The ship, it's transmitting Princess Lyra's personal code." Every head in the throne room turned. Zephyrin rose from his seat, his heart's pounding in his chest cavity. "Impossible. Show me." The view screen flickered to life, and there she was, Princess Lyra. Her silver skin scarred, but unmistakable, her warrior's crest still proud upon her head. But she wasn't alone. Beside her stood a human male, brown-skinned with close-cropped hair and intense dark eyes. He wore the patched flight suit of a human soldier, and his arm was wrapped protectively around Lyra's waist. "Father," Lyra said, her voice transmitted across the void. "Permission to dock. I'm coming home." The throne room erupted in chaos. Kenneth Harper had seen a lot in his 5 years with the Terran Defense Corps, but nothing had prepared him for this. The Arcturian palace was massive, all crystalline spires and flowing energy fields. As the docking bay doors sealed behind their borrowed ship, he squeezed Deborah's hand. No, Lyra's hand. He had to remember her real name now. "You ready for this?" he asked. She looked at him with those alien eyes that he'd grown to love. 3 lids blinking in sequence. "I should be asking you that question. My father is ... formidable. He's a king. I get it." Kenneth straightened his uniform. "But I didn't pull you from that wreckage just to lose you to royal politics." They'd met in the debris field of the Terminus Nebula. Kenneth's patrol ship had picked up a faint distress signal from what looked like scrap metal. Inside, barely alive, he'd found an alien princess trapped in the ruins of her command ship. Against all regulations, he'd saved her. Against all logic, they'd fallen in love. The docking bay doors opened. A wall of Arcturian royal guards stood waiting, weapons drawn. Behind them, King Zephyron himself descended the approach ramp, his massive form radiating barely contained fury. "Lyra." The king's voice echoed like thunder. "You dare return with a human? Father, this human saved my life." Lyra stepped forward, her head held high. "Kenneth Harper found me when your own fleet declared me dead. He risked court-martial from his own military to nurse me back to health. He brought me home. And what price did he demand for this service?" Zephyrin's eyes fixed on Kenneth like targeting lasers. "Your hand in marriage. Access to our technology. Humans are known for their opportunism." Kenneth felt his jaw tighten, but Lyra spoke first. "He demanded nothing. He gave everything." "Father, you don't understand humans the way I do now." Lyra's voice grew stronger. "They're not the primitive opportunists you believe them to be. When Kenneth found me, he had a choice: report me to his superiors and claim a reward that would have set him up for life, or risk everything to save me privately." King Zephyrin's skin flickered with uncertain colors. "And what did he choose?" "He chose me. No reward. No recognition. He used his own savings to buy medical supplies. He modified his ship's life support at personal cost to accommodate my biology. For 3 months, he nursed me back to health in secret, asking nothing in return." Kenneth stepped forward, his human heart pounding. "Your Majesty, I know I'm not what you wanted for your daughter. I'm not royalty. I'm not even the same species. But I love her. And in my culture, when you love someone, you don't abandon them when things get difficult." "Love?" Zephyrin's laugh was bitter. "You speak of love between species separated by millions of light years of evolution." "Yes." Kenneth's voice didn't waver. "Because I've learned something these past months. The things that make us different to our biology, our technology, our cultures, they're superficial. What matters is what's in here." He placed his hand over his heart. Lyra showed me that. She could have demanded I take her straight home. Instead, she stayed with me, helped me survive when my ship's systems failed. We saved each other, over and over. The king was silent, studying the human before him. Finally, he spoke. Tell me, Kenneth Harper of Earth, what happened when your ship's systems failed? We were near a brown dwarf, low on fuel. The temperature regulators went offline. For me, it was uncomfortable. For Lyra, Kenneth's voice caught. Arcturians need much higher temperatures to survive. She was dying, and we both knew it. What did you do? I rerouted all remaining power to her quarters, keeping it at the temperature she needed. I nearly froze to death in the process. Spent 4 days in hypothermic conditions before we reached a mining outpost. Lyra continued the story. He almost died for me, father. When we finally made it to the outpost, the miners, also humans, saw him with me and assumed I'd taken him prisoner. They were going to shoot me to rescue him. Kenneth stood between us, took a plasma burn to the shoulder, protecting me. She pulled back Kenneth's collar, revealing the angry scar tissue. King Zephyr's demeanor shifted. His skin began to cycle through thoughtful purples and blues. You took an injury for my daughter. From your own kind. They didn't understand, Kenneth said simply. But I did. Lyra is worth any price. The throne room was absolutely silent now. Every Arcturian present was watching their king, waiting for judgment. Zephyr descended until he stood directly before Kenneth, towering over the human by nearly 3 feet. His forearms crossed in a gesture Kenneth had learned meant deep contemplation. We Arcturians pride ourselves on our advancement, the king said slowly. We have technology your species won't develop for centuries. We have conquered 100 worlds. We have a civilization spanning 3,000 years. And yet, he looked at his daughter, truly seeing her for the first time. We were ready to declare you dead and move on. We had already begun the funeral rites. This human, with his primitive ship and limited resources, did what our entire empire could not. He brought you home. Zephyr turned back to Kenneth. You shame us, human. You shame us with your determination, your loyalty, and your love. These are qualities we thought we had perfected, yet you have shown them in greater measure than our finest warriors. The king's skin suddenly blazed brilliant gold, the Arcturian color of joy and acceptance. He extended one massive hand to Kenneth. Welcome to the family. Kenneth Harper of Earth. Any being, regardless of species, who would risk death for my daughter, has earned the right to stand beside her. Kenneth took the hand, feeling the warmth and strength in the alien grip. Relief flooded through him. However, Zephyr continued, a hint of humor in his voice. If you hurt her, I have 300 warships at my disposal. I trust we understand each other. Despite everything, Kenneth laughed. Yes, Your Majesty. We understand each other perfectly. As Lyra embraced her father, then pulled Kenneth into the embrace. The throne room erupted in cheers. The princess had returned, and she'd brought with her something the Arcturian Empire had never expected to find in a human. A hero worthy of their highest honor. Later, as they stood on the palace balcony, overlooking the glittering capital city, Lyra leaned against Kenneth's shoulder. You know this won't be easy, she said. 2 species, 2 cultures. The council will have objections. Let them object. Kenneth wrapped his arm around her. We've already survived impossible odds. We'll survive this too. She smiled, her alien features beautiful in the light of Arcturus Prime's twin moons. You humans have a saying, don't you? Love conquers all. Something like that. Kenneth kissed her forehead gently. But I prefer another one. Love is patient. Love is kind. We've got both, so I think we'll be fine. In the distance, the first human embassy to Arcturus Prime was already being planned. An alliance was being forged not through politics or warfare, but through the simple act of one person choosing to save another. And somewhere in the cosmos, humanity's reputation was quietly being rewritten, not as conquerors or primitives, but as beings capable of love that transcended the boundaries of space itself. King Zephyr watched them from the shadows, his ancient hearts full. Perhaps these humans, young and reckless as they were, had something to teach the older races after all. Perhaps the measure of a civilization wasn't in its technology or its territory, but in the compassion of its individuals. The future of 2 species, and maybe the entire galaxy, had just changed.